All right.
All right.
Settle in. Classic. Welcome everyone to another, hopefully successful episode of
That'll
the
be a
Loose
first.
Screws pod. Oh man, I'm trying to create infotainment.
No.
So
I like when people combine words.
yes, welcome to the Loose Screws podcast. I'm Commander Jantrax, and it is the 320th episode for 19 February in 2026.
33.012-ish.
33.012-ish.
320th.
So close.
Is that like Duluth time?
Yeah.
Well,
Doxing me.
Dark 13, Mockingbird Lane.
Saw what you did there.
The doxer isn't here. I'm getting doxed. This is just unacceptable.
On this flavorful week, I'm joined by Commander Chig.
That's me.
And Commander Bloomingwind.
Hello.
And Commander Roy Cookson.
Staying frosty.
All right. And okay, so a lot has happened. A lot has happened since Monday.
Oh, well, since me and Lark had that amazing 1v1 show last week.
Yeah.
So.
A duel to the death, apparently.
Yes. All right.
Yes, a lot has happened. There was a devlog first, devlog. I guess it's not a blog because it was in video form. Devplog. It's a developer log, so a devplog. What do you think of that? Combining words.
Devplog. Plog's a word? Why is it plog?
Because it's developer, and I chose to keep the P for arbitrary reasons.
Develo-plog.
Develo-plog, I actually really like.
That's catchy.
Develo-plog.
Combining words.
Quick, go to GoDaddy and get that domain.
Yeah, there's somebody to scoop that up.
Develo-plog.com. Right.
So there was a devlog. We've got a roadmap. We've got a ship. We've got colonization backpadding. Somebody who cares about colonization can talk about that instead of me. And operations. And this is my round table. Here we are. So that's the high level. If you still want to listen to the show, it's your funeral. In the meantime, let's see, how do I approach this? Chig, what have you done since your 1v1 against Lark? Does that mean this is a 4-on-4 brawl?
This is a free-for-all.
This is FFA.
We can divide up teams if we want, make it a 2v2. I mean, a 3v1 might be fun. We'll just bash Roy for sneaking in here late like he did.
Hey.
Coming to save the day. Wait, okay. There was an actual question there. What have I been doing since last week?
Yes.
Well, in-game was part of a fun little adventure I think we're going to talk about later that somebody started talking about during last week's show and that we shouldn't have been talking about, but that's neither here nor there. That was fun. I made top 10 in power play. Actually, I think I made top 5.
I think you were
Congrats.
you were like the third or something, weren't you?
I think fourth. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah. So yeah, that and I don't do power play, so that was kind of fun to put my name on the weekly board.
What a surprise it must have been to get your name on a board that you didn't participate in.
I know, it's crazy. It's like they're just handing out trophies these days, and I took I was off the podium. I took fourth. My God, what the hell? So I did that last week. So now I did do some power play, I guess. What else have I been doing? I'm learning to fly my ship again. I might actually become above a mediocre pilot now. I've had my Verpal sticks now for probably 4,000 or 5,000 hours of flying, and I've never bothered to put any curves into it. I just am one of these guys. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep practicing until, I get better instead of trying to use some curves,
Oh
less
my.
movement on the inside, more on the outside and stuff. And I figured after 5,000 hours, it's time to actually play with some curves. So yeah, I'm learning how to fly again right now. It's actually amazing how those little tweaks can really steady some things out. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I'll be a little better than mediocre these days if you
Gonna be
decide to
Chig
fight me.
Prime. Mhm.
So I'm doing that. What else have I been doing? I don't know. I watched the dev thing, so we can talk about that. I saw Trax complaining that there's no loadouts in game again, so there's that. And Trax got triple elite +1 the other day, so that's good.
Congrats.
Weeks ago.
Yeah, like a lifetime ago, probably. So that's all I got. Oh, in real life, there might be some pooping involved, but we don't need to talk about that. So on to the next person.
Everybody poops.
Sometimes more frequently than not.
Okay. Cryptic tease. All right.
Blooming Wind, you go next.
Alrighty. So out of game, I haven't been on the podcast in a while. I would say the last time I was on was probably the last week of January. And that weekend, I guess was the 29th or so of January, a massive ice storm rolled through Nashville and we lost power. And I was like, they knew it was coming. I've never gone more than 3 days without power. I'm just going to try to suck it up. My wife was out of town. I'm like, I'm just going to try to suck it up. And on day 3, I'm seeing my breath. And I'm just like, enough's enough. In my house with the gas fireplace trying to keep me warm, just not getting done. And I can tell you that Nashville Electric Service was useless. So at that point, I'm like, I just pack up the dogs, pack up the cat, pack up the stuff. And I moved into my mom's apartment. Thank God she has a 2-bedroom apartment. So with an office. I mean, it's like she got like the big apartment. And so then I picked up my wife, and then, power's got to come on at some point. Power's got to come on at some point. Took 10 days. We were without power for 10 days. And I'm watching 90% of the city get its power back. And my neighborhood is like one of the last to get its power back. And I can tell you, people were like ready to go after the NES leadership, who was completely incompetent, because there was a point where we had a few days before we got power back, people from other cities coming, like the power companies from other cities coming to help, and sitting in parking lots in my neighborhood, like at the church parking lot, and not doing anything because they're waiting for someone to tell them what to do, because they can't work without being instructed. Like it's some sort of rule. So it was just an utter train wreck. I lost about 3 trees in the backyard, a bunch of limbs. And so I have a 15-foot tall, 15-foot wide pile of cedar, limbs, tree trunks, things like that in my front yard waiting to be picked up. But the worst part of the whole thing was my dog Rocco has a seizure disorder, and it's been incredibly well controlled, absolutely incredibly well controlled. But just the stress of being cooped up at my mom's house, he's kind of poop shy, unlike Chig. And, I had to bring him home to our house for him to go to the bathroom.
Oh,
I mean, it was crazy. Like I felt so bad for him and all that. And, but he just was like, he was just poop shy. So like twice a day, I was bringing him back to my backyard to let him do his business there. I mean, he would pee in the afternoon, if we take him for a walk in the afternoon. But he was just like, I like running free. I'm not used to going on a leash and all those things. And like I said, his seizures were getting worse. We got him back in our house. We, the neurologist said increase his phenobarbital. We did that. I'm hoping we can bring it back down to where it was before, but he's doing great ever since the second he got back in our house, he was just like, this is great. I'm home. And it was really funny. He really loves being at home. So, and then since then it's just been life as usual. So once we got back in our apartment, we're back in our house from my mom's apartment. So, but the people at our complex were great. You know, I mean, it's like a senior living place, so they're not used to having, youngish, middle-aged people living there, but they were all good sports about it. And then our two dogs and our cat.
These prime young folks in here.
I know, it's like crazy. So, but we're there every day anyway. So visiting my mom one way, shape, or form. So it was like they're used to us, but still they were good sports about it. So I was very grateful for that. And then in game, I haven't done a lot because, like I said, 10 days without power, and then trying to decide what I wanted to do after that point. So mostly have been just trying to stabilize one of our systems, Alexandrinus, from a BGS standpoint, because the relationship between BGS and power play are not perfect, and they often bump into each other. So our influence in that system was dropping, and I was just trying to ferry it up with bounty hunting and mining and doing all sorts of things. Running missions is tough. So that's what I've been up to in game. So
cool.
That's it. Yep.
Roy?
Okay.
How's it going?
In real life, I'll start with that. So I went on a trip this past week for a business conference to an island in the Caribbean.
Cool.
And on the drive from the airport to the conference location, I was asking the driver, it was kind of a long drive. I was asking the driver about the local fauna. And she mentioned that they have snakes. And I asked what kind. And she said, it's a very poisonous one called a fertilance. And I immediately thought to myself, I'm on Ganker Island. It's pretty rare. But I find it very jarring when something from a video game presents in real life. Anyways, it was the kind of conference where you're with a group for every meal, in activities all day long, and kind of mandatory social events that go late into the night. And after 4 days of this, I was thinking, I need to be alone or I'm going to lose my shit. Apparently my social battery is like one of those old NiCad rechargeables. It holds voltage pretty well as its level of charge depletes, and then all of a sudden it's zero.
It's gone.
So it's gone. It's gone, and I need to go somewhere. So that was my week in real life. In game, I did some power play on foot stuff, super secret squirrel stuff just before I left on my trip. I was able to break away to watch the Develo-plog about the Kestrel Mark II and operations. But otherwise, I've had to watch all that from afar and try desperately to keep up with 15 pages of Discord posts as I check in every 14 hours. So that's what I've been up to. How about you, Trax?
About me? Well, in real life, I've been watching, we watch some Olympics stuff. We usually pay attention to that when it comes around. That's the only quasi-unusual thing. Oh, and I did finally start Fallout Season 2 last night.
I started that yesterday too.
My wife watched Season 1 with me, but I kept asking her, oh, Season 2's out. And she's kind of like, she always wants to do something else. Eventually she tells me, I can't even follow, I can't even remember what happened in the first season. I'm going to have to go back. And I was like, okay, you rest. I'm going to go watch it on my own. She doesn't care. So anyway, I finally started that. So that's going to be cool. But in game, I also was, with what game time I had, was climbing out of my spaceship and doing some power play that way with some of these chaps. And it's fun. It's, more on that after the fold, I guess. But
God, how old are you? After the fold, I guess.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you, you old ass bastard?
Everybody knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, we do.
Who are you kidding?
I am. Okay. So here's real life and in game are blending, right? Because on Monday they released the Develo-plog,
Keep
hit.
working it. It'll stick.
I have calmed down a little bit, but no shit. Like, I was so uncharacteristically hyped. You guys know I don't just throw around expectations, but these guys showed up with this new ship. And I don't know if, like, I have to say this myself, but like, it's like they did exactly what I told them to do, more or less. Like, I couldn't believe it. They, first of all, small ship, excellent. That's what I wanted, and everybody kept telling me it was no way. I'd much prefer it was something else, whatever. So, I mean, I get my wish, whatever. I realize it's not going to be for everybody, but small ship, combat focused, excellent. This is speaking my language. And then, out of nowhere, they say, and it has a special module, we're bringing back the shock cannon. And I was like, I gave them that idea for free. And you know what? They took it for free, and now I'm going to pay them for it. And I am going to pay them for it, too. That's the thing. Oh, my goodness. Now, I've calmed down a little bit since then. We'll talk more, but I was flipping out. Very uncharacteristic for me.
Over the top. I thought somebody hacked your account with how over the top you were.
It's ridiculous, right?
It was pretty intense.
I was like, who is this guy running Trax's account right now? He's so excited.
Yeah, I mean, I like happy, fun tracks, you know?
Well, and then reality said, no, I'm just kidding. I think it's cool. I haven't got to fly it yet, which is the other reality check, because we still don't have, we still don't get any preview stuff over here. Here at the Loose Screws, we don't get any previews, which I think is kind of rude that they've gone on this long and just haven't, I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. I'm kind of done asking. Maybe I should ask again. Maybe all the management's changed over there, and I should ask them again. But I just think it's kind of weird. Like, whatever. If you don't want to put us in the whole program thing, but not, I get it. We're probably not going to make a bunch of videos. If you gave us this stuff, we wouldn't turn that into a bunch of more videos. They would just be regular podcasts. So, yeah, okay, whatever. But it would be great to have the press kit info.
We haven't proven a commitment to their game yet. I mean, we've only done this every week for almost 7 years. I guess, eventually we'll earn their respect, even though, my standing on the whole thing. We won't go into that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I that's why I'm kind of laying out, like, I get that some of what's going on is a bit transactional. Like, you produce content around this, and we don't, like, as a group, we don't produce a bunch of videos that people go watch. So I understand, but at the same time, I think it's rough that I have to go and scrape screenshots and stuff off of their video or off of some other content creator's thing to be able to throw it up on this. I just don't think that's necessary. They could just be tossing us press kits. I don't need server access or whatever. I understand. I probably wouldn't make use of that in a way that would be valuable to Frontier. Totally understand. So anyway, that's my stance.
A junior partner program.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I communicated with anybody about that, they kind of said, like, hey, we're thinking about something for a podcast like you guys, but we don't have it in the works yet. And that had to be over a year ago. So I don't know.
Wait, what do you mean a podcast like you guys? What do they mean, you guys? What does that mean?
Well, I don't think I don't think that's a direct, I think a paraphrasing there before we go too far with this, but.
Wait a minute. There's no podcast like us. I'm confused and mildly offended.
I suppose you're right.
I'm over
it. Okay. So, I'm the last one, right? I keep getting confused. You're
the last one.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyways, that brings us around to, I think, squadron stuff, right?
Yep. Squadron stuff.
Incoming priority message.
Squadron briefing.
Alrighty, well, the biggest thing is not about the squadron itself, but about Inara, which is the website that almost every elite pilot uses. So it's had a refresh because so many player minor factions are present in hundreds of systems at this point. They had to make some changes, or they decided to make some changes to the minor faction pages. So whenever you go to the systems or states sections, instead of having the list of 396 systems that the loose screws are in, it's broken up into pages. So you have to turn the page and turn the page and turn the page, and which is kind of annoying when you're trying to just flip up and down to after you've sorted by state or after you've sorted by influence. Just creates a few extra mouse clicks, so I wasn't really happy about that. But they added a couple of filters so that you can filter out your Trailblazer systems, from your OG worlds. So a lot of the because there's been a great diaspora of player minor factions, and we don't even know where the heck 3/4 of our systems are, because we haven't been to them, we haven't put them on or bookmarked them as to be mapped or anything, because it's like we just randomly landed in a whole bunch of places. You can filter those out, and so you can just kind of stick to the OG worlds. But what's interesting is that, how I keep saying that BGS is about 2/3 fixed. Well, it's the system influence is slowly kind of coming down and slowly kind of cooling off. And we're now beginning to see that some of our highest influence systems right now are ones that are in our Trailblazer systems, that they're not the OG systems, like when we were having Ross 310 and Qama and those and Mycoro were all perpetually overheating. Now they're not perpetually overheating, and they're kind of drifting slowly down into the 70s and 60s as the expansion cycles are happening. But what's interesting is now that we have our top 3 or 4 systems are all Trailblazer systems, we're going to be going through cycles of expansion out there, and we're going to be moving into other systems out there via the expansion mechanism as opposed to via colonizing things ourselves. So it's moving, which is cool. And as I said, we're in 396 systems. We control 118, which is kind of steady state since we really don't have too much in the way of imperial designs. 7A, Qama, and Alexandrinus are all in boom for the traders out there. As far as conflicts of interest, there's an election in G172-15, and our Ocellus station Porsche's progress is in jeopardy, but we're up 2-1. And as far as systems needing a push, the systems we really only care about pushing up are systems that are controlled by us and below 40% influence. There are 5, and Alexandrinus is the one that needs the biggest push. The problem is that we have 4 factions locked in conflicts there, so there's only 7% influence that we can pull anyway. So, until those wars break up, we're not going anywhere. But hopefully they'll break up. There's some people that like to AFK bounty hunt there, so they're tying everything up by just going after massacre mission after massacre mission and doing Haz-Res farming. So anyway, that's the squad update.
Okay. Fabulous. Well then, I guess the next step would be to run down the ye olde power play cycle, which is this button.
This is the short PP report.
Target shields offline. Target destroyed.
It's average, so get your facts straight.
Well, here we find ourselves, cycle 68. Does anybody feel compelled to talk about what happened in cycle 68? It looks like most powers gained things.
Yeah, what it did?
Archer gained a shitload. 10 exploited systems and a stronghold. That's more than anybody else.
Now, is that net or is that gross as far as the acquisitions?
It's Archer, so it's gross.
This is just this cycle. Does that answer your question? It's a change from last week. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because there was there was one they lost. So.
Oh yeah. Well, so total change is plus 10 exploited, plus 1 stronghold for Archer. Their total systems still have them in 6th place, or total points, I should say, according to Kruger 5's rankings, which are weighted according to how difficult they are to attain as far as control points go. We haven't talked about that in a little while.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any like changing of places. Liang Ri's still in 2nd place according to the weighted scores. I don't know what else is there to say about it? Oh, apparently the human ceasefire in the Enclave is over. Did it change much? I don't know. Is something changing now?
That's
Has anybody
still
heard
happening?
anything about it? No, I think it's not still happening. That's specifically what's happened, is that it's not happening.
Oh, that's right. Jesus Christ.
Because it was for 2 weeks, is when they said it was going to go, and except now it doesn't seem like anybody's very excited. Well, they canonized it, right?
Well, but they didn't canonize everyone being in it. Wasn't that something where there was a couple people that were
they said that,
left out?
That who is it, Mahan or or is it Antal? I don't know. One of the independents they said like wasn't in it, and then the Galnet article was really weird because the Galnet article that talked about like pirate attacks because everybody was busy in the Enclave, except they said that it was happening to federal and imperial systems, even though the federal powers aren't in the Enclave anymore. So it's kind of, I don't know, wishful thinking or not paying attention on their part.
What I want to say about that whole thing over there is the reason we're not in the partner program, I think. So I just won't talk about it.
Do you mean about the Galnet thing?
Dumb.
Do you mean
the whole thing's just dumb? I'm sorry. The whole thing. It's just.
Do you mean the Enclave or the
Enclave,
ceasefire?
The entire thing over there.
Yeah.
Adding in the ceasefire, everything else, the way that they implemented it. Wait a minute, I said I wasn't going to say this. You tricked me.
No, like I agree with you.
Tell us.
Like I don't think we've been shy about that. It seems like it was implemented really weird, especially if they thought it was actually going to play out down to 1 powder. Like it's just they just didn't create it in a way where that happened.
Nope. And just kind of people got evicted, lost interest, went back to regular power plays, and then those powers seem to be doing better back in the other section of the universe. And that Enclave was over there kind of still doing stuff, but then those people with those powers like, well, wait a minute, our other power play stuff that we like to work on is being neglected because of this.
Yep.
So then let's do a ceasefire. And I mean, come on, this whole thing is just asinine. Over some fucking mushrooms or whatever's over there. I don't know.
So what are they going to do with them?
What are you going to do with the mushrooms? Well, we don't know.
What are they going to do with the
imagine that has
mushrooms?
something to do with the plot that we've been told is coming.
It's time travel, isn't it?
The plot is going to take a year to unfold.
It's going to take a year to unfold. Yeah, it's got something to do with performance enhancing drugs. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, or just somebody started CrossFit and that's a good protein shake for them. I have no idea. We're just gonna.
Yeah, they're good protein apparently.
We're along for the ride because we can't affect it anymore because we got thrown out. Never mind.
Yep.
I'm done.
Yeah. Okay. Well, are we good then? Let's. So on Monday there was a Develo-plog.
Develo-plog.
It was okay. What'd you think? What'd you think of the video, everybody? Do you like the way they're doing it these days?
Are we just all talking at the same time over each other? Or are we just
Yes. Everyone speak in 3, 2, go.
I like that it was pre-recorded.
Yeah. They come out better that way, right?
I like how it was multiple pre-recordings stitched together for a full video.
I mean, yeah, I think the production value was fine. No complaints there.
Okay. Apparently that was a stupid question on my part. Let's move on.
I mean, I'm not sophisticated enough to, judge, the quality of a video unless it sucks ass. I mean, it would have to be like really bad for me to be like, oh, dude, that really was like poor production value.
And they've done those kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know the difference.
The first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The first one about the Type
Was
11 was rough, and then they learned, and that's good.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
They can be complained about in the submission where they improve their quality. So keep that in mind, everybody. Run to the forums, complain more.
All right, so we got this roadmap.
Yeah.
Here it is. We got this roadmap. Get big on my screen. Oh, it won't.
So we
zoom
like
in.
roadmaps.
We do.
We hate open
We like to
letters.
have a general idea of what's going on.
Okay.
So what they say? So phase 1 is this ship, Kestrel Mark II. Great. Phase 2 operations finally happened, and a unnamed vessel.
Mhm.
Summer, 2 vessels over the summer. Autumn, feature reboot and a vessel, and then in winter another vessel. Okay. So
Let me touch one thing real quick.
yeah.
Anybody else find it crazy that now instead of new ships, it's new vessels, nuclear vessels? That strike anybody?
I mean,
all?
I
British
noticed
for
it.
ship.
Yeah, it makes me think that SLFs could be on the table or something like that. Something
thinking-
slightly different than just a full-fledged ship, right?
I'm thinking SLFs is a possibility, or even in the operations section, there was something that looked like a mini kind of fleet carrier, maybe a new budget fleet carrier of some kind. That's
The Frontline
that's my
Solutions
speculation.
smaller carrier, you mean? That
Yeah,
one?
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, something like that.
So
Maybe
Frontline
we can
Solutions
get.
has a support carrier,
Yeah.
but that wouldn't be. I mean, it has to be something
That'd
we
be a
can
vessel.
fly.
Why?
It would be a vessel. Well, because they have to sell it for ARCs.
Yeah.
Well,
They have to sell early
could-
access to it for ARCs.
They could finally give us some interiors for our fleet carriers and new fleet vessel.
I mean, they sold a whole station for ARCs. Why couldn't they sell a small carrier for ARCs?
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But what would be the appeal of buying a small carrier? Like what could
I
the
don't
small
know.
carrier do that we like, yeah, I want one of those other than just to have it?
Jump more
I mean, they
frequently,
already-
use less tritium, use a different fuel. There's a bunch
They
of
already tricked me into
things.
buying a bigger carrier, and that turned out to be total bullshit. I still
True.
hate that stupid fucking thing.
Yeah.
You're still making payments on it. Good God.
No, we paid cash for that baby.
Yeah, no, we're fine. It does cost us like $28 million a week, but
Yeah,
who gives a shit?
you're always making. It's like in real life with property tax.
Yeah,
We don't own property. We just rent it from.
Yeah.
In this case, we rent from FDev. In real life, we rent from the government. But it is what it is.
So, actually, I did use the squad carrier a little bit because now I can take all of the on-foot materials that were clogging up my whole system and just dump them all into the bank, and then people who need them for unlocks can have them. And I was able to grab a couple of little tidbits that other people didn't need and had put on the bank that I needed for a couple of things that I'm just finishing up right now. And I never engineered a Dominator suit before. The only one I'd ever done was a Maverick suit. So what with operations and all, I decided to engineer a Dominator suit. We're just putting the last mod on it right now.
Be prepared.
Voting on it.
Night vision is the only thing I don't have on yet on my Dominator suit. So, what was I talking about? I can't remember.
I don't know. I cut you off to talk about
Small
vessels.
carrier,
That's
Do
okay.
we want to?
vessels,
Yeah. Do we want to
Yeah.
go through the video in order that it was there, or
ships
do you have something?
and the new feature.
2 ships and the new feature. I mean, I figure, well, okay. Well, the other thing they talked about was the colonization stuff. I mean, it is interesting to see. The bubble is, I guess, 6 times the size that it used to be in less than a year.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
It is wild. I am still not convinced that that's good, but people are using it which means I assume they're spending money on cosmetics in the game, and that's going to keep my game alive, so I accept it. That's my
I don't know how many
very warm review of colonization.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many dodecs there are out there. I haven't really looked. The amount of stuff I have to do to even put a dodec in a system right now is kind of astronomical, since I don't want to use it as the first station in a new system. I want to put it in one of the ones that I have. So it's just kind of like I'm building, but I've taken a break from building for the last month or so. And so I haven't blown those arcs, even though I was planning on blowing those arcs on the dodec station. But yeah, I mean, it's been growing because there's people that have sort of purpose-driven colonizations. It's like they want to build a bridge to Sag, and those motherfuckers are just completely motivated. There's the bridge to the Pleiades and all that. I mean, there are people that want to kind of tame the savage lands, between the bubble and the baby bubbles, and the expansion. I guess there's going to be expansion towards other nebula, other sites, other cool places are just going to have there goes the neighborhood happen to them. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see if FDev decides they want to allow expansion from other pockets. So do they want Trailblazers to be able to leave Colonia? Like, hey, you guys can start in Colonia and work your way out. Or I'm not sure whether pockets of humanity you can't expand from yet. But I think that they can you is there colonization out in the California Nebula?
I don't think it's anywhere except the bubble, right? Well,
yeah, but I mean, I don't know if they've reached. I don't know if they've reached some of these places, because once they reach it, because they made it to Daxy's Folly.
Oh, that's pretty far out.
Yeah,
wow.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So even though you can't expand from Daxy's Folly, there's stuff around it that you can. So it's
well, okay. So if players make it all the way out there, then there's a colonized system there. Yeah, and you can expand from that, right? It's just that the pre-populated systems are the only ones that they're disallowed for some reason.
Right, because
that's strangely artificial now.
Well, it is artificial now, and like I said, I don't know if they're ever going to flip the switch to undo that. But but I think that I mean, and what's the point? I mean, does it really matter? I mean, unless you really like, I want the consortium to be colonizing.
All you have to do is get the consortium into the system that you colonized. So colonize out next to it, get the consortium to expand into it, get them to take control, and then expand from there. And now you're expanding the consortium. Yeah, you can do it.
You can do it. Yeah, and the BGS rules behave so much better out there. So, if you want to do things, and if you don't have 300 systems, it's pretty easy to expand. Right. From whatever you want to pick. But if you like we are, it's just like you got to get above the threshold of the highest rankings, the highest influence system you have already. And if like you have so many between 75 and 80, you're spending time working up there while everything else. And even then, it's random. So of all your systems above 75%, it's random. I think it's a weighted randomization but any of them can be the one that triggers expansion. It's not always the top one. So, so it's not exactly perfect. But anyway,
I had resisted and have still, I guess, resisted the bug to do colonization, and I think it was because I was approaching it maybe from almost like a shipbuilding mentality. Like I couldn't see what the benefit was, or I couldn't quite get my head around, is there some maximization or optimization within a given system that makes it like, oh, I've made the cool system that has some, I don't know, triangular supply route within its own system or something. I can't even express it properly. Like I never found it. And it seems like the two motives that have come about that drive people now are, I want to get somewhere, I want to get to a galactic POI, basically, is one. And then the second one that's closely related to that is, in the effort to get there, I need to make way stations along the way that produce the materials that I need to make stations easier so I don't have to drive so far to deliver this stuff. And then I guess the third is, once I've got that, I want my faction to go somewhere. I think that's it, right? Like I've never seen the one that's like making a perfect system. There is no perfect system, I don't think. There's a way. Like I never got to a point where it's like, well, it's a system that somehow is hyper optimized and exploits some niche in the way settlements or stations work together.
Yeah.
It never seemed. So it's turned into one of these things like, I want to do this thing so I can do more of this thing, kind of thing.
Yeah, it is, and that's really the point behind it. Is that systems are unique. Every system has a certain number of bodies, what those bodies are, where those bodies are placed, what's your starting point. And based on that starting point with the system, and then you picking what your initial station is that you're going to build in that system, everything you build builds out from there. So there are systems where an architect will build, I want this system to be manufacturing and high tech. And that system is suited for you to really lean into those two things. And then another system, it might be a good system for agriculture and extraction. Based on the bodies that are there, et cetera, et cetera. And so what you end up doing is there's like a couple, you can have a couple of systems right nearby each other or a little bit of distance from each other where they're largely self-sustainable. And you can get every material you need for continued colonization from those couple of systems. There's a couple of nice examples of it near us, but there's a little bit of sophistication you have to have in colonization and planning ahead, and they have the tools for it to let you really build some nice things. The problem is that to really have some nice stuff, you got to have some orbit stations because those are the big ones that have the largest markets, so that you can buy a lot of steel, or you can buy a lot of titanium, or you can buy, CMM composites in a large amount from a large planetary port. So, I mean, it takes some planning, but each system is going to be unique based on what the system looks like before you even start building.
I think another motivation, and I don't know if this ties into, I can't remember where I heard it, but I thought the way that they were talking about what might happen on Distant Worlds 3 was, maybe I'm imagining this, but I kind of thought that maybe somehow there'd be an announcement at some point that there's something new about colonization where you can actually make like a deep space outpost kind of thing that's not connected to the bubble, perhaps, which would facilitate another purpose for this, which is go find galactic POIs that are like, a system with 4 black holes or some other stellar phenomenon or things that you find in exploration. And at the moment, the only way that ties into real colonization is if you happen to find that within, let's say, a couple hundred light years at most of where the edge of colonization is, and then you figure out how you're going to build, 15 systems to reach it or something.
Yeah.
It's not quite overlapping with the vast category or the vast library of cool things explorers have found. It's sort of encroaching on it over time, but there's so many other things that are out in places that, I don't know, aren't likely to have a thread of colonies reaching out to it unless a significant portion of the community decides to all work together on that.
Yeah. And you're spending so much time building the chain to get there that it's like, okay, well, even if they're putting one up every other day, it's like it's going to be how many days, at 15 light years at a pop, how many.
Yeah, it's a major commitment, right?
Yeah.
It's months of work.
And these are people who have a long game, but it's still for things that are really far away. It's a long game. And that would be nice.
Well, it works for, obviously, and it is working for the major things, large nebula, the center of the Milky Way, whatever. But for the hundreds and hundreds of small but cool things that explorers find, no one's ever going to, rally 1,000 commanders to go build a 500 system chain to go visit that one thing, right? If there was a deep spaced outpost that maybe is much more limited than others, and I don't know, maybe you can't branch out from that one. Maybe you don't get a way to make a bubble from that thing. Then you could make deep space POIs in effect that might be interesting for explorers.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be really nice. I mean, and we'll see what they do with the because they had that community goal, so we'll see what they do with that. Yeah, they already had a story.
It turns into a one-off station or something.
Yeah, but I would hate for them to do all that trouble for just a one-off station. I mean,
you mean literally one unique station?
Yeah, like at one of the,
as opposed to a feature to make deep space as many as you want to pay for.
Yeah.
One station's kind of the old way of doing it, right? Now they have other features.
And if you're doing even if you're doing a singular deep space station, it's still a hell of a commitment because, I mean, the number of resources you need to marshal to build, a starport, you can't put them all on a single fleet carrier.
Right.
So you're making a couple of trips or you're getting a couple of friends and you're all going to do it together.
Or you're doing, like you said, you're bringing, you're creating a system that causes this availability somewhere nearby.
Yeah. Didn't we talk about this at one time? You just buy a bunch of dodecs and just send them out. That's easy peasy. Right. Just open your wallet. Come on.
$50 for 15 light years or something, whatever it was.
Yeah,
it was absurd.
We're pitching your stuff.
Give us the preview. We've earned it.
Yeah.
Buy ARCs, everybody.
And they updated the launcher. And I don't know if y'all remember how I couldn't buy ARCs and Lark Shadow had to teach me how to buy ARCs in Steam. And every time I ever bought, and every time I bought ARCs in Steam, I held my breath hoping that the transaction would work and those ARCs would eventually appear in my Elite Dangerous game, like 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, after a couple of reboots and restarts and things like that, they show up. And I was like always stressed out. So with the new launcher, I bought some ARCs and it worked and it was seamless and it was easy.
Yeah.
It was great. Cool. I was just like, it's the greatest thing. I might buy more ARCs.
Yeah, they just got a new process. Didn't they? Can buy with PayPal. And stuff
they updated the launcher. That's kind of a separate thing, but around the same time, they got a payment processor. I used to buy through Steam because that was the way that I could use PayPal before, but I never had trouble with it. But that's just but now I don't have to do that because they take PayPal right on their thing. So good. So
that was the section of the video
launcher.
That was a section of the video I thought we'd talk about the least is the colonization. Wow, you guys really went ham on that.
You remember this free-for-all? It really is a 2v2, Chig, that's going on here. You understand that, right?
Gotcha. Yeah, we let them have that discussion, and now we get to talk about ships and operations.
Right. I'm rested. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. I was resting my voice, but for sure.
Okay. What do you want to do? Well, okay, so here's another thing to touch on. What do you guys think a refreshed feature coming in the fall? I mean, what are the exact words they described? It's something that touches every aspect of the game and hint, exposition.
Core feature. Yeah.
Core feature. I mean, BGS, right?
It's got to be.
Is there anything else that they could talk about? Like
I shouldn't say
it like that.
Just to provide a counterpoint, I think BGS is the first choice. The only thing I could think of as a second choice is but I don't know why they would go back to this necessarily, is exploration and the Stellar Forge. That touches everything. But they're not going to mess with the Stellar Forge now that people have placed land settlements near significant geographic features. That's a bad idea.
Last time they messed with the Stellar Forge, it almost blew up their company.
Well, I mean, exploration, I could talk for a long time about all the things they could add to exploration to make it even more depth, like make black holes scary, give them gravity that pulls you in and kills you, have rogue planets, comets, change the whole payout system.
Wait. Roy, You're saying the feature revamp, the feature they're going to rework is the danger.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Listen, I love that. That sounds great.
The other thing I could see, but again, I don't know if this feels like a feature refresh, is I've always called it throw some pennies into the pool. Like throw random things out into the black so that there's things to go look for. I think there was some concept a while back that, well, why would they do that? Because it might take an infinite amount of time for someone to go find it. But as we've, I think, talked about in previous episodes, when you actually look at the density, the star density in the map, unless you're putting something in the core, the center of the core, as soon as you're outside of the really center of the core, you actually find that people have been a lot of places or been within one jump of a system of a lot of places. So you could spread some stuff in sort of the middle donut or even the edges and have a pretty high probability that someone's going to find it. And maybe you don't just put one, but a whole new class of things to find, right?
Yeah.
Like a giant
There's
mushroom.
lots of things they could do to pepper more things. Well, yeah, that too. But I'm just saying there's lots of things they could do to refresh exploration so that people aren't just looking for pretty systems and pretty planets, although that is a driver, and I enjoy the solitude sometimes going out there and doing that. But there's a lot of things they could add to that.
And no one's telling them they can't drop hints. Like if they put pepper a whole area with things, they could always drop a hint or two. And I mean, all it does is take, 5 minutes for somebody at Canon to figure out, how to triangulate some shit.
Well, you can trigger. I picture them triggering, the like random messages that you get. It's like, it's like a tip off. That's what it's called.
Yeah,
like the tip offs never paid, right? They never. They're just a noob trap basically. But if the tip-off system could exist in such a way where if you're within 3 jumps, or if you're within, well, it have to be some light years, right? If you're within 40 light years of something, then something pings you, that'd be great.
I just remember the very first...
Throw some things out there.
Right. The very first solo expedition I ever went on, I hadn't been playing the game for more than, 3 months. And I got, 6,000 light years, 7,000 light years, far enough that I was... system after system was a new discovery, and I landed on a planet and found a crashed nav beacon. And oh my God, I thought I had just discovered something magical, and right, like how did this nav beacon get it? Like it was such a naive, wonderful sense of mystery and discovery that lasted for a couple days until somebody told me, like, oh yeah, those things, they kind of happen everywhere and they don't mean anything. But imagine if they did something like that did mean something. And it doesn't have to be a giant narrative, but something more than just this was a random thing that fell on the planet.
What would be interesting is just something that made like the stellar phenomenon easier to find and stuff. And then they could pepper more of those, like some kind of new scanner that lets you know that there's stellar phenomenon within 30 light years or something when you're out there.
Right.
It's like, which system around me is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and it's a bit of knowing too much how the sausage is made, but the fact that stellar phenomenon and pre-Odyssey biological signals are all fenced by galactic sectors. Like you'll literally find 0 of them if you're not in the right sector, and then you'll find them every other system when you're in the right sector. They could remove that sort of artificial fencing and throw something into the galaxy that's just got maybe a more organic kind of distribution than what they did on the first pass.
Well, intern Todd could just be dropping these things randomly in systems. He's just looking at the galaxy map. Let's put one here. Let's put one here.
Yeah, just throw some darts. Throw some darts.
Yeah.
But yeah, to go back to the start, I do think it's BGS. I'm just trying to make up a second choice, but it's probably BGS. Would be my guess.
Yeah. Which is
now,
exciting.
What about? Now, you talked about not wanting to touch the Stellar Forge. A lot of people in the fan base are interested in, the atmospheric planets, landing in those planets. Like, could you go to a water world? Will they release the Maury Star boat? That sort of a thing is one of the ships. You pair that with the with the refresh. If the refresh was you could land on water worlds, Maury Starboat 2 Mark II would be the natural ship for that if they were to do such a thing. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be BGS.
I mean, just the way they talked about it, right? Like, this is all fun. I can think of other things that would be fun to refresh, but just the way they were talking about it, it's not that. Imagine if they were like, we're going to add more planets to land on, lava, water, Earth-like, whatever. They wouldn't, like, I can't picture them phrasing it like that in like the way they do the video, you know?
Well, if it is BGS, just fixing something they broke doesn't feel like enough. So what would actually be the enhancement then?
Hopefully better. I mean, you could do a hell of a lot better with like the mapping features, and it's like the kind of stuff that we have. Well, I was about to sort of praise the power play map. It's not like amazing. It's better, but God, I don't know. Shit, I started answering before I realized that I maybe you're right. It's fucking bullshit. What could they possibly do?
Well, I really feel like Power Play 2 just kind of almost replaced the BGS. Well, there's still BGS happening, but that was their big, you know.
But they got to have it for missions, you know?
No, but there isn't BGS happening. And that's the whole thing. I mean, when Power Play came out and when Trailblazers came out, those were two game-breaking events for BGS. Power Play caused everything to overheat out of control. And colonization created an uncontrollable diaspora where people were curating their space, their BGS space, their minor faction space. It went from carefully curating it to, you know, wild, crazy growth and uncontrollable growth. So, you know, with regard to the map, I mean, allowing us to have more bookmarks is one thing, but, you know, controlled expansion is something I would want. I mean, rather than, you know, push a system up above 75% and trigger expansion with so many things overheating, I want this one to be my next one to expand. And like, you know, sort of the BGS master, this, you know, big, you know, people that have that permission in the squadron or whatever, you get to pick, this is the system I want expanding or my priority order to allow it to happen. You know, and have it be much more manageable.
Would it make sense to retroactively pull some of the new Power Play features back into BGS? Is there some mechanisms from Power Play that would make BGS more predictable or controllable?
No, I think it's calmed down. I mean, right now I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is that we have the after effects of all of that.
No. I don't mean the interplay between them. I mean things like undermining and reinforcing and the stages that I mean, it seems a bit oversimplified, Power Play compared to that, but in Power Play, you can target the system you want to get. In BGS, you just make a system ready to expand, and like you say, it goes randomly. Maybe they could take inspiration from some of the new mechanisms in Power Play 2.0 to add features to BGS that make it more controllable.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of what he was saying, right?
I mean, that's kind of what I was saying. I mean, you know,
I'm thinking of how they could reuse assets. Basically, they've got algorithms and logic in for Power Play 2, and maybe there's features that they could. It's almost like BGS becomes local Power Play somehow.
I'm trying to imagine how that would feel. So now I'm trying to expand to a particular system. Then if we took like a Power Play way of doing it, then I would fly to the target system and I would have some kind of BGS actions for my faction there, even though my faction isn't there, kind of thing. And that would say, here, we're trying to move in.
Directed missions. So right now we have the mission board. If you took the mission board, but you pick the system that your missions are going to. So deliver, 2,000 tons of advanced medicines. I want to deliver them to this place so that I can convince that place that we want to expand there. For example, something like that.
Okay, Brain Blast. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so based on some of the way they were talking about the operations stuff, which is all still largely a tease, but it seems like there's sort of like a menu and we pick here's kind of what I want to focus on. If I choose power play, then I have a different list, or I have a few targets that I can pick for power play and then do an operation that will affect, this sort of stuff that they said. That could be something. So now I roll into my BGS menu, my mission menu or whatever. I pick my faction, and then I pick a target, or I pick from a list of available targets, and then it generates a mission list based on, so here's the available actions that here's the available missions that we could send you on based on the faction you're trying to help and where you're trying to make it happen or something.
Yeah.
Maybe you could launch those from the squadron carrier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think that if there's, you refresh the mission board to some degree, maybe create a couple of new missions, but refresh the mission board and have it be targeted rather than the way we currently have it, where it's purely getting above a certain influence threshold, because you have too many systems out there that, okay, I got to cool off all of these random Trailblazer systems, in order to expand from the one I want to. Yeah, and that's too much of a heavy lift. So,
what if moving your squadron carrier into the system you want to expand from, and then taking your faction's BGS missions from the squadron carrier, like your squadron carrier is like a piece of sovereign territory, so to speak, and you choose by moving it somewhere. That's what you want to do. You go there, you're running missions from there, and that's how you plant the pin, sort of.
Think about that for a minute. That was something that when they were talking about the squadron carrier and stuff, is there was speculation as to what we'd be able to do with it. And we were hoping there'd be like squadron missions that we could assemble and stuff. And that could be your targeted missions and give the squadron carrier an actual purpose, where its position does things. And then you're deciding the kind of missions that gives people guidance. Like right now we do our standing orders. If it was on the squadron carrier, you had a mission board and it was pointing at this system or that system, that could be guiding your expansion and movement through space and everything you want. All of your orders could be right from the squadron carrier. So I mean, that's absolutely something that would be awesome, but I don't think that would be, a core feature rework idea. It'd be more broad than that.
That's more what we were, or I was at least hoping for with the squadrons refresh that never happened. It was like right there, plain to see. This is definitely what we should do. Be able to create mission chains for people. We can do your work for you, Frontier.
Yeah, we decide the rewards. We're putting the cash up or engineering mats or whatever as the rewards. You could really put the carrot out there to guide things. Yeah. Core, it's either BGS. I think it's not even fixing BGS just seems like just tweaking numbers. If they do a rework of it, it's something far crazier.
Crime and punishment?
I think it could be reworked into, the Power Play 2.0 era. I just think that, like, changing the way we do missions, changing the way you do expansion. Those are kind of the things that you do. I mean, and make people want to do missions. I mean, I don't know how many people are like, hey, I'm when I get on the game, I do missions. Like when we were like at our zenith with the BGS, I mean, it was people were really motivated. I mean, there was people that were cooling some systems off because there was only 3 or 4 systems that needed cooling off. I'm looking at you, Borked. There were people that were, working towards preparing a system for expansion by retreating out some faction. I mean, there was a lot of thought and a lot of strategy and a lot of effort that people put into it. And then, like I said, the rug got pulled out from under us. I mean, it doesn't help that there was a major BGS war that we were dealing with. It kind of burned us all out, but it came out at the same time that broke at the same time that all the other stuff.
See, I'd go more wish list things. If I want some things fixed, I want crime and punishment. I've been crying about this since maybe a year. The crime and punishment needs fixing, and ship loadouts. But ship loadouts, I don't think is a core feature that touches everything. That's something that well, I don't know. We do everything in our ships except
Like-
the on foot stuff.
It's
So
like one
maybe that
screen
could be a
though that they
core
need to
feature.
change. You know.
Well, yeah, but there's more to it than that. You know that if they're going to be, going, because people talked about, well, what if your modules aren't at the system? They'd have to take away the
Mhm.
transporting. The way I see it is this is a way they could do loadouts without worrying about where the modules are. If you buy a fleet carrier, this is a feature of fleet carriers. Fleet carrier, it would really give a real reason to own a fleet carrier is where all of your modules end up stored, and that's where you can do loadouts. Other than that, you can't. And then that fixes the exporting modules everywhere thing, because if you own a fleet carrier, they get shipped there every time, something along those lines, as far as I'm concerned, because they need loadouts. I don't care.
And
It's
fleet
way
carriers
past-
aren't for ARCs, so there's no pay to win discussion possible.
Amen. But that and crime and punishment are the two things that I care about. If it's either one of those, I'm super, super excited about it. If it's anything else, I'll have to see what it is. Because you guys know, BGS talk is usually my nap time. So I've been napping a bit during this episode, just so you guys
You're
know.
all rested.
Yeah.
I'm
So how would you
well
fix
rested.
crime and punishment? Like I know it's broken. I know it's like it's anemic. It's like who cares?
Well,
and it's just
lo-
annoying. You got to go
loiter-
pay off a bounty somewhere.
Well, it is. There's that. But I mean, loitering is a punishable by death offense. But, there's other things you can do that have like no repercussions.
Actually shooting at people gets you smaller fines sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
High sec systems. If, you want people to fly in open, they could fly in open, but they stick to high sec, and then they're going to be safer, because there's faster response, that ATR, whatever they're called, show up super fast, just a lot of little things like that. I don't have a perfect answer. Maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when we talked about this, I would have had a lot more ideas. I just haven't given it much thought because it's something that I have given up thinking would be fixed at any point.
Yeah. No, but someone mentioned like a couple of weeks ago the ATRs with the bigger guns. Like if you had station guns on those ATRs, it's like one shot, the guy's shields are down, and
you could have a bigger level of ATR. I guess. I think rather than just changing what the punishments are, there's some of that's kind of messy, yeah, for sure. But I think the larger problem is it's just not thought out correctly about when you get fines and what counts as a fine. There are things that you can do and you're in the middle of nowhere and no one else is there and you kill somebody. And that's caught, you're caught, you have a fine, like your ship imposed, like that makes no game sense whatsoever. It's just there to make it's trying to be enforced morality, not crime and punishment. Like they're trying to say
and they didn't do that with on foot.
Right, and everything changes on foot. Everything's totally different. Just here's a good example. So we were doing some on foot. We were picking up data from a station that was powered down because the system fell under pirate attack. So the lights are off. So we turn the station on so that we can get data from it. Sometimes raiders attack. So ships will come down. They're all decked out with spikes and stuff, and they drop off a little squad who are going to shoot at us. All of those people you can kill and it's fine because they're bad guys. But I was in a ship and so I shot down the little Viper that was dropping off the bad guys. So the bad guy's ship that dropped them off, that was a clean ship and I got in trouble for shooting it and I got notoriety for killing it. Okay? So this is like fundamentally everything's busted about this. It's also highlighted by now that power play has been redone, the way it interacts with power play. Basically, the power that's in charge of a system can do no wrong, more or less. If anybody has a power play tag on, you can't get in trouble for killing them. But likewise, or reciprocally, if I turn up into a system from another power, they can shoot me with impunity. They could kill me. But if I fire my weapons back at all, I get a bounty, even if I'm not the one who shot first. Like if I go in there clean, not wanted. So it has to be all or nothing. Like they did it this weird halfway thing where now it's just as absolutely unfair as it could ever be. Where it should be, if we have power play flags, then like the interactions between us maybe aren't subject to crime and punishment. Or what I think would be better is if the power play is treated more like gang warfare, where if we get caught, maybe we'll both get in trouble or whatever. But the power that controls the system in power play does not control the law enforcement on power play. Not really, right?
They could also use
they're not going to have
rules of
the
engagement.
stations shooting you down.
They could use rules of engagement. So different powers could declare war on each other, and then it's free for all. Or they could be like, no, you're going to get a bounty if you attack this other person, or we're not at war.
How would they decide when that's happening and not, though?
Well,
I don't think that really fits in. But
managing that,
yeah,
I'm just saying that's an option they could have. Like they could make it where there's a narrative around which powers are at war with each other. I don't know. Maybe it depends on the system state, the power play system state.
But the one that
like if you show up undermining somebody's system, well, now you're fair game.
The biggest headache and why I'm on crime and punishment again is the one that Trax just mentioned, though, is where another power is there and they shoot me and I can't shoot back without getting a bounty. It's just absolutely fucking painful. It's ridiculous.
It's very stupid. It makes no sense. I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. I could argue that crime and punishment's a core mechanic. But anyway, I still think it's probably BGS. That's the most broken, largest core feature. And I just don't think they understand what's really wrong with crime and punishment. The fact that they recently added something that, like, the way power play breaks it even worse, and it's like a recent feature, is like kind of a sign of the times, I think.
I mean, before they revamped engineering, months prior, they had gotten some feedback from the community on it. Is there anything else that was like that? Was there anything else that they got, feedback on?
Speaking of module transfer, they got feedback about, what do you think about deleting module transfer times? That was sometime last year, or was it even earlier than that? They did collect that feedback, I think. I don't know if they listened to it. All right, guys, do you want to talk Kestrel or operations?
Kestrel.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't do on feet. So.
All right. None of us have this ship yet because we don't have previews, but we've seen a lot, so we could probably run through this quickly. I'm still super excited. Like I said, it feels like they basically picked what I wanted them to do, right down to the new gun. But so it's a super maneuverable ship. Let's see, I've got a tab here that has the specs sheet, right? So by the way, they mentioned 4 utility slots right off the bat.
That was great.
Teased the ship.
They got that
anyway. So a small ship. It's it's like 1 meter longer than a Vulture or something. It's so, on the small side, less chunky than, actually small in the sort of profile than even a Cobra 5. So I got high hopes for the evadability of it and stuff, but we got a lot of size 5 stuff, the distributor, the power plant. That's where it's going to be tricky. This feels like a hard to fly, or hard to fly well, at least, right? I can run down more, whatever. I mean, the stats are the stats. It's got 1 military slot. It's got a smattering of things.
Yeah.
Mark II thrusters.
Right. So the Mark II thrusters, the main seat here is, I mean, they're very fast. It's a very agile ship, but the Mark II thrusters do, when you boost, instead of diverting most of the power to the main thruster and then some of the power to the other thrusters, they sort of flip that, and most of the power goes to your translational thrusters first, and then the remainder goes to your main thruster on the back. So it's much more focused on moving, not in a straight line. And apparently it's fucking bananas. And there's a weird thing where the stats on the drive, the optimal mass and minimum mass are equal, which I don't think is going to matter. It's weird. We kind of are thinking it doesn't matter though, because it's the way the mass of the ship worked out. It's actually extremely easy to keep it under minimum mass, just like the Corsair. So it'll probably just always be going
605 or whatever.
605, whatever the top speed is with a fully engineered thruster. So, but the minimum mass and optimum mass meaning the same thing is there's no curve. It's like as soon as you hit the minimum mass, you would slow down by a large amount and then continue to slow down from there gradually as it got heavier, but there's no like curve.
So normally, would there be a flat line between, you have a minimum and then higher up there'd be an optimum, and then between those there'd be a, equal speed?
There's minimum, maximum, and optimum is in the middle. And I've never really fully understood how that affects things, but it causes there to be this power curve where as your ship gets heavier, you will start to go slower. You'll get less performance out of the thruster. If you are at or below minimum mass for the thruster, it doesn't get any faster. That's what's going on with the Corsair, how it always goes 600. This, I don't know. It's just something somebody posted on Reddit, I guess, and it's sort of interesting. It almost seems like a clerical error, and I wonder if they'll fix it, but I also don't think it's really going to come into the gameplay at all, because it seems like the ship is still always going to go the same size.
Is there any edge case where that would be interesting, or just it would make it worse?
Well, it would just get less performance. What would be interesting is like if you have a ship that's at minimum mass for its thruster, and then you add 10 more tons or something, it will get a little bit slower. And then gradually it'll get slower and slower as you add more mass. With optimum and minimum being equal, as soon as you hit that minimum mass number, you would make a big jump in the loss of speed. And then continue from there. So you sort of like the person on Reddit graphed it. So instead of, you see this power curve, like Coriolis.io shows this, right? If you look at like the speed of the ship, you can show these graphs, and it's like a line. And with this graph being optimum and minimum being the same, it was like a square. Okay. It was like it was like a square. Like the line was straight, and then as soon as you hit minimum mass, it went straight up, and then leveled off when you hit maximum maximum mass, I guess.
So once you pass maximum mass, it doesn't get any slower, or what does that mean when you hit maximum mass?
I don't know if it works the same way. The formula is complicated. The only part of it that I've ever really had to understand is try to get a ship as close as you can to the minimum mass of your thruster, and that's how you'll optimize its performance. And in fact, if you're below minimum mass, you don't have to worry about it anymore. So don't worry about stripping any more weight unless what you're carrying about is jump range, because that continues to be affected. But as far as thruster performance is concerned, also apparently right now those agile in the preview server, those agile thrusters you can put on any ship. So that's surely not meant to be correct, but. Okay, other module, this gun. So this thing has 3 large hardpoints and 2 small hardpoints. It is going to be tough to fit that into a size 5 distributor. So that's where the trickiness is going. That's why I'm like all this talk about it being massively overpowered ship. I kind of wonder, like I get it, but at the same time, massively overpowered in the hands of somebody who's practiced flying specifically this ship, I think, right? Because tough. It seems tough but rewarding, I guess.
Yeah. This feels like the ship, like if I was going to go all in on FA off and not stop until I was really, really good at it, this would reward that investment the most.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Well, Burr's comment was that he decided to engineer a thruster to like 2.5 grades instead of 5.
I'd use less
pips. Fly it better. Yeah, like I don't think I would handle it that way. I probably will be using less pips because I'm going to need so many pips in the weapons capacitor, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So
before you leave thrusters completely, I had a question. Maybe it's a completely dumb one, but can this take? I know Mark II thrusters are the hotness, but can this take enhanced thrusters?
Oh no, it's too big. Yeah, enhanced are only size 2 and 3.
Oh, okay. And this is bigger than
This
that.
is a
Okay.
size 5 thruster.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, you could
Never
put
mind.
regular thrusters in it if you didn't like the agile boost, but I think you'll probably like it. Or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know to tell you what to like.
Now, is this something that's going to favor a HOTAS pilot? Because I mean, I don't know if you guys
man.
did you guys ever play Descent?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. So Descent was this game where basically you have like all your degrees of freedom in your ship.
Mhm.
You
It was
can,
sort of the
you know,
first sixed-off game.
yeah.
I
it
bought a
was.
special 3D mouse. It was like a mouse on a stick that you could do all. Yeah, and it could twist and everything. Yeah, for that.
Yeah,
game.
I had a friend who had a HOTAS set up with 2 sticks back in the late 90s. One of my classmates in medical school for this
That's
game.
a whole sass.
Yeah, I mean he was hardcore, and I mean I couldn't get over the setup because I was like, dude, I'm like doing like keyboard and mouse on my Mac. So
Yeah.
you know, but this ship reminded me of Descent with the idea of these agile thrusters, and you know it's going to take a completely different way of flying, which is going to be fun as hell. I mean, I'm going to be still using my Xbox controller. I mean, I don't have anywhere to put a setup like that right now. But my wife would think I was crazy if I did that. But I think that there are going to be pilots who are going to be having a field day with all the different degrees of freedom that they're going to be potentially afforded by the way that these thrusters sound like they're designed. I mean, did anyone comment on that from the preview people?
To be completely honest, I looked around quite a bit at various preview videos. There's a ton of the stuff. I know there's probably partners that I'm not familiar with and don't come up in my YouTube feed or something, but there was a lot of people. This was the wrong ship for them to be previewing to me for pretty much everybody I came across. They're all like, well, here's the new ship. I mean, it's really twitchy. I don't know. I don't really like small ships, or I don't really like combat, but I'll give this a shot. And I didn't gain anything from that personally.
None of them were combat focused.
There was one person, and I shouldn't single that out because I don't want to really single anybody out. There was one person who I think had a pretty good take, and he did kind of say like, this is a ship where you can put it wherever you want to be. Like you're just never. So it sounds like it's gonna take a completely different kind of flying, the kind that I've mostly gotten used to recently because of like Corsair and Cobra 5 being like my main combat runners right now, is occasional close-in strikes, but then a lot of distant drifting and railgunning people to death. This ship is probably not going to favor that. It's probably going to be tough to fit railguns onto it with the power plant the way it is if I want to bring anything else along at the same time. And it just has the agility that maybe you go totally opposite. You're just a knife fighter, basically, the whole time instead. So, anxious to get my hands on it.
I think
So
cannons are going to be, it's going to be a nice cannon ship. Throw 3
Cannons
big
and
cannons.
pacifiers. Anything
Yeah.
low energy, definitely.
Yeah.
So what weapons do you think that the Class 5 distributor can keep up with?
Well, any of those kinetic, anything kinetic for sure will be easy. You put those in the larges, you're not using a lot of distributor, you're not making very much heat. So pacifiers will be unbelievable on this thing, as they are on any ship, frankly, that has large hard points. And cannons are great, sure, absolutely. It really has a lot of choices. The thing is the special guns it comes with. So the plasma shock accelerator. So thrilled that people get to use essentially shot cannons. They modified them pretty heavily. They're not a traditional shot cannon. The thing that's wrong with the shot cannon to begin with is the ammo capacity. That's fixed because it has plasma slug on it all the time. But then they took it a step further, and I think probably did improve it for the better overall. Like they're making it a plasma gun, so it's going to have split damage types. They keep saying it's equal against hull and shields, which is an arcadey thing to say, when really what they should be saying is what damage types it is. Is it absolute or is it split like the rest of the plasma guns? Probably it's split. between thermal and kinetic, and they made it kind of a burst fire. They still have that. It seems like they don't have the trigger mechanic where the jitter starts to go high if you pull the trigger quickly, but I might just not have seen that on videos that I wasn't looking closely at. What it does have is the magazine, if you can call it that, slowly refills while you're not firing, sort of like an auto loader. That's like a feature of the shot cannon. So if you fire it too quickly and fully deplete, then you go through a reloading cycle. But if you never get it all the way depleted, it never hits a reloading cycle if you space your shots out well enough.
So it's a shock plasma accelerator, not a shock cannon. I think they called it a shock cannon in the video, didn't they? Even though that's not really what it is.
Well, they said it was like an updated version or modified version of the shock cannon. And one of the mods is that it is plasma now. It's plasma now.
Are you still as excited about it now as when you thought it was literally a plasma slug shock cannon?
Well, frankly, the damage is probably better for this. So yeah, I am excited. It's not quite the same gun. I did really like that, like pull the trigger as fast as you can mechanic. It seems like this still has that. It's just that it's a much more high energy, high heat gun now. So it's even less forgiving when you start to wail on it. So probably you'll be doing a little less wailing on it, maybe a couple of quick bursts, but you really do kind of cook yourself. From the videos I've seen, you fire all three of those. It 4 pips to weapons, it still drains that capacitor. And if you're doing 4 or 5 quick shots, it's over and you're overheating.
Is this a ship, or is there ever a ship where it's worth engineering the distributor for weapons focus?
I don't know. I'm always going to want it in the engine capacitor too.
Yeah, the only time you really would go weapon is if you need hard burst, right? Like there's some AX builds that can take advantage of it, but it's such a minor difference that it's not really worth it in the end. Such a fringe case.
I mean, I guess what you're thinking about when you're engineering, when you're comparing charge enhanced to weapon focused, is the weapons capacitor in weapons focused has charge enhanced and capacity enhanced at the same time, but everything else has a small deficit to both.
Okay.
And that sucks. Especially since the other main feature of the ship is that the boost makes it incredible for placing the ship exactly where you need it to be, kind of thing. So I think weapons focused is going to detract from that a lot.
Right.
That's my fear.
So what would be your first sort of, what's your theory crafting of how you would build the first one? Weapons-wise,
I'm gonna leave those shot cannons on it, and I'm gonna see if I can get railguns into the smalls. I am concerned about the power plant being large enough for that. The distributor will be fine.
Do you think they'll allow engineering of those plasma shock accelerators?
No, they're not engineerable. They're still an experimental weapon.
Okay.
I mean, unless they make a change. On the preview server, they are not engineerable, so I don't think so.
Because, I mean, if you can make those efficient, that would give you some room.
Yes, but I don't think that's what they'll be. But they do like 95 DPS per gun or something.
Wow.
So they're up there with a modified plasma accelerator. I think is in the range of near 100 damage per shot. Mm-hmm. An efficient mod is the one people typically use. So, am I right about that? I don't
think so.
Yeah, I think it's close to that. So I think they've put the damage in the right place for not being okay with it not engineerable. Seems like.
Weapons aside, just talking about this super agility, do you think it's agile enough to take on purpose-built medium combat ships? Like, could it literally always be on the tail of the ship?
That's what I've been told. That's what I'm hearing. Is like if this thing ever gets behind you and it's piloted well, you'll never see it again.
There's a reason that I decided to add some curves to my stick because I think this ship is going to make aiming challenging if you can maneuver that well.
Is this the ship that's too twitchy for railguns?
Yeah,
Or will I figure it out?
That's what I'm kind of. That's what I'm
Well,
speculating. So I'm getting a few days practice before I get that ship.
If you're always going to be, 20 meters off the back of another ship, wouldn't it just be cytos and pacifiers and Bob's your
Could
uncle?
well be. It could well be. Cytos and pacifiers would be incredible, or really cytos and multi-cannons that have corrosive on them. Although, because pacifiers don't have that good armor penetration, but they're okay. The damage is high enough that they're okay. Anyway, blah, blah, blah.
They're almost screaming for cytos with the 2 small hard points.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That could be good. The thing about that is that cytos are pretty high energy drain as well.
But you're never firing them with the other weapons, really. It's one or the other.
It would be right if you switched to cannons or pacifiers or something. So I kind of think that if I'm using these plasma shock accelerators, then my other gun is a long range gun, or maybe I haven't used thermal vent beams in ages outside of AX combat. Maybe I switch in some of that and we start playing with heat control guns,
But speaking of heat, did you see anything in the partners' videos about its heat handling? Is it hot, cold? Could it be stealth?
Shock accelerators make it really hot. That's kind
I'm wondering
of the
if
talk
it could be
of
a stealthy ship, like if you could literally sneak up on someone and then just stay on their backside.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if you if the situation is such that you're a little slower than some of the targets. It's like with my Cobra, I was like, I have to be faster than all of my targets or attackers because that's my out at any moment, right? But if this ship's never going to be quite as fast as a Cobra, then maybe I give into that a little bit and maybe you go clean drives instead. And I don't know, maybe that changes the equation for the power limits. And you could I have ideas for what might work out. Have to play with them, but
I mean, if you're really good and it's 1v1 and you can always be behind them, do you need a shield?
Yeah. It's got room for armor, and the mass is so low that you can probably load this thing up with a lot of armor and be okay speed-wise, too.
Well, a big part of this thing, too, is, the frequency of boost with the size 5 and being able to stay in that perfect position. It's going to, I don't know, it's going to be interesting. Your pip management, all of that, heat. It sounds like it's going to be a high skill ship.
Yeah. Yeah. But the firepower is pretty undeniable. Just like even not considering just using regular guns, it's going to be absolutely wild.
Yes, I'm very, very intrigued. 3 larges on a small ship is just insane to me.
Funny when we theorized like what a Vulture Mark II would have looked like, and it was like, what if they add a 3rd large hardpoint? And here's what we get: this is yes and.
Yes, and we'll throw 2 smalls on it also. What the hell? It's crazy. Yeah.
This is why I was bouncing in my chair at the video. I bought ARCs before that video premiere was done on YouTube because I wanted to make a point.
Sending a message.
This is incredible. Keep listening to me.
Yes. But I'm sure we'll have more info next week once we get our hands on it.
We'll play it. I'll be buying it right away. I probably still can't.
Me too.
I was thinking, like, am I going to buy Galactic on this thing? No, I think because I'm not going to want the same color holo kit. If I get a holo kit, I don't want the same one as everybody else. So I'm probably not going to buy the Galactic one. That's too much to pay for early access on a ship anyway, right? I mean,
I buy the base.
I have to draw the line somewhere.
I hate all the pre-engineer or the tags on the modules on these ships. I hate that.
Yeah.
So I buy
Stellar because it's still a better deal if you're going to get the kit and you want some paints with it. So I definitely I'm going to be happy to have a kit and save some arcs that way, but I immediately trash all of the store tagged modules because I don't want to storing them at some point.
Yep, indeed.
Operations? So the only other thing is operations. Apparently, this is, I think I blacked out after hearing about the Kestrel. I had to rewatch the video to even realize that they gave any details about operations, but feel free to jump in, somebody who wants to.
Actually, let me back up one sec. I just noticed something I'd written down about new ships. And I love the fact that they keep putting out all these new ships, but this is I can't say the dumbest thing they do because they do a lot of dumb stuff. But honestly, just from a marketing perspective and everything else, we need these NPCs flying the new ships.
Oh God!
I mean, if you're out in the wild and you're getting attacked by one of these new ships, even if the Kestrel would have come out for NPCs before it's available to buy, people would be chomping to buy these things because they're like, "Oh my God, what is that I just fought?" And just
that would be amazing.
God, start having the NPCs. The fact that we still don't see Mandalays in the wild or Corsairs is just absolutely asinine. And I just wanted to share that because that would be the cool way to introduce these ships. All of a sudden, you're flying into a station, you see a ship you don't recognize. Think about that. It's like, whoa, this is going to be the new ship. And you're trying to scroll through internals to see what's inside, and there's just marketing.
It is. It would be incredible for them to market like that. It's also super weird and conspicuous they didn't. I think I have a really good conspiracy theory for why that's not happening, but I also think there's this super interesting mass delusion that's gone on where there's a lot of people in the elite community who think that there were NPCs flying some of the new ships, but then they disappeared. And it never happened, but lots of people seem to believe that they've seen it. And I think that's hilarious. But anyway.
They're all called Mandela.
Mandela effect.
All the ships were called Mandela.
Yeah.
They're called Berenstein. I forget which one's wrong.
Berenstein.
Stain is right.
Stain is well,
right.
It's right, but it's wrong.
It's right, but it's wrong. Anyway, I think the person who designed the AI for all the ships is no longer working there, and I think they don't know how to do it anymore.
Oof. They
can't teach any of the new ships that have different parameters, and they might not even have NPC loadouts. Let's design them based on their skill level and setting and stuff in the ship tables. That's what I think.
Yeah. It's incompetence yet again.
Well, hold up a minute. You could, I don't know if this counts as a test or not, but any of the new ships that can support an SLF, you can put yourself in the SLF and your crew member in the ship. So is that any different than
that is an
another
NPC flying the ship? I guess it is. So that's
I've
type
never
11.
tried it, but
Caspian
have
a fighter?
I don't know if they suck or if they're any good or what.
Can Caspian have a fighter?
You assume so, yeah.
Look at us. We're so great.
Good Lord.
Large ship. Well, Caspian.
I mean, we don't use us.
Ship I don't own.
Yeah. I think Panther Clipper
can. The Panther
right?
Clipper can. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Can the Type 8 have one? No. That's a no. Because I was pretty sure that was a point of contention when it first came out.
Caspian can, at least in EDC.
Okay. So there are 3 new ships that can have fighters. So technically they can fly them, which means it isn't a problem of the NPC doesn't know how to do it, but it still could be a problem of they haven't created loadout tables for what NPC Type 11s would look like on the inside.
And we know that the Panther Clipper, the docking computer, can land, so that's an NPC piloting it into a station at least, right?
Yeah.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Operations. Somebody talk.
I have 2 thoughts. The first one's kind of minor, but I just wish we could just stop talking about gravity in megaships It's like to me that feels like an actually kind of thing. It's not something that's affecting the fun either way or will affect the fun either way. I think so. I just let's just stop talking about gravity and meg ships. That's
Well, the
point.
reason we do is because they made such a firm thing about there will never be artificial gravity in this game.
They kind of made a thing about it, and then they left.
It feels like they
trash on
should
the
just
floor.
stop talking about it. Just stop talking about it, and people won't care. As my
Maybe
No,
this
I
new
think- I
mushroom
think-
gives artificial gravity, and that's the.
I don't
big,
think. I don't.
That's
think
the
people
core
would stop
thing.
talking about.
Right, there it is. It's the core
artificial
thing.
gravity.
Gravity. It affects everything. There
It does
is.
affect everything. Holy
Roy
shit!
gets his wish.
well, okay, so much for the minor point. So I would say for operations, they're continuing down this path of picking from, let's call it the buffet of MMO features that other games have used. In that, I think it's very interesting. They've gone with a new currency to purchase special stuff. I call it the Chuck E. Cheese coupon for the gift shop model.
Tickets.
For our friends overseas who don't know what Chuck E. Cheese is, it's like a pizza place where they have a bunch of games and you play
Arcade
the game,
tickets.
spits out
They have arcade
coupons, and then you
tickets in
can
other
take
countries, right?
maybe, and then you gather up all those tickets, and then you get to spend them in a little gift shop in the middle of the store. It's kind of thing. So it decouples it. You can save up a bunch of them to get some big, or get a bunch of little things. So one result of this is that it, as opposed to having just random special loot in a mission, it removes the rare random special loot drop, and it replaces it with a different kind of grind, one with, I guess, more choice along the way. So instead of replaying a mission, which happens in lots of games, like Destiny, for example, if there's a certain thing that only drops from a certain kind of mission, you just keep replaying that mission just until you get it. Instead, you could just save up the coupons and then go buy the thing. Coupons,
seem
though,
better.
I'm wondering, though, since once they, I think maybe they might have done two things here, because they hinted that there's, didn't they, that there's other operations specific rewards that they haven't revealed yet. So maybe they also have things that are specific to a mission loot table that you can't. Now, if you can't buy that thing with the new currency and it's some super special rare drop, then maybe they've got the best of both worlds, because you'd have certain things on the loot table that you could buy with the new currency, and you'd have other things that you do have to get lucky in the drop, which I think appeals to two different kinds of reward loops. So that's my thought on that. Is I hope it's both, actually, because I think there's different
any of that.
itches that get scratched with both of those.
Huh. So you think that the big draw point of operations is the new potential loot stuff?
Well, yeah. I mean, I talked about this a while back. Is the compulsion loops, right? It's like, why do you play it? It's what was missing in on foot combat. Is you don't get things from shooting the bad guys that help you get weapons or suits, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no connection. And with operations, what's driving you to play it? Yes, you could get power play merits. You could just have fun shooting things. But if they have a loot table this is sort of just cribbing from games, right? If there's a loot table that the reason you pick a certain kind of mission is that's where you get a certain kind of reward. Now they've decoupled that thing. Well, do any of these missions and you'll get the currency, and then you can go buy them in the store. Or if there's still things that are rare, this is what I'm hanging this on, is that I think they revealed everything. And if those things are specific to that mission, and you can't, like, you could get currency and you could get this reward exclusive from each other. The currency helps buy a certain level of things, and for the super special exotic or something, maybe you have to actually get the drop from the mission. Because there's it's a different kind of reward loop if there's a random chance to get something.
Yeah. My
I'm
read
just
of
not
it,
on that page at all.
Yeah, when I guess I would have to watch it again. When my read of what they said was the abstraction, right? The currency was the loot. And what they were talking about is they haven't announced what all the rewards are. We're talking about what the currency can be exchanged for, like engineering mods and stuff like that. Those were mentioned, right? I think engineering mods.
They
were
did mention
mentioned.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
even if that's all it is, I think that's still because you're getting something
It seems
relevant
good.
to
It seems
combat
better than
from
having it
winning
be
the mission.
random. Yeah.
It's better than just getting mats or something, right? It's basically getting pre-engineered stuff, I think, right? New blueprints,
Seems like it.
mods for your weapon, stuff
Yeah.
like
It
that.
seems like it.
So having a special rare drop would just be, I think, an extra bonus on top. I'd be happy. I'm happy with the currency. That whole idea. I mean, I'm not inventing this. It's used commonly in other games. There's Destiny. How many currencies did World of Warcraft have? Destiny has half a dozen. Like they would come up with new currencies, even for new like regions in the game to draw people to that region, as opposed to just having a currency that's across the game. That's why credits are so devalued, because you can get them
Right,
ways.
get the same thing from
There's
anywhere.
nothing really special.
And that's why engineering mats was a currency too. Yeah, that's good. I think that's a good thing, a good move. I think my overarching takeaway from operations was the thing that's interesting about it is that it seems like what they're setting up is like a content release platform. Not just we're making these things that you can go as missions. Now they have a system that they can deploy anything throughout, because it's not just on foot. I mean, Bloom, you said like I don't do on foot. Like they show foot, but it's like everything. It's like in your ship, around foot. It's in spaceships. It's inside megaships. It's going to be all kinds of stuff. They mentioned other game mechanics. They mentioned that there would be mining operations when the first tease. So, but I think this whole thing that they're setting up is like I imagine this is going to be a thing like the community goal, that they can make a new bit of content, a new bit of story, and it's going to revolve around this, and here's a new operation that's about it, or whatever.
Well,
Something to that
they
effect.
basically came out and they said what's coming out at at launch, and they said it's going to be some larger scale and some smaller scale ones, and then we will grow from there. So they basically flat out said what you're saying there. So yeah, it's one of the few
I
things
guess I guess I'm
that,
just
was
framing
factual.
it. Yeah, framing it more like this is a way for them to add new modules into the game.
Okay,
I mean,
the
whatever.
rewards.
Yeah,
You're back to rewards. Okay, gotcha.
Well, kind of, yeah, or just I don't know. I think story based. At first, I wasn't thinking that it had anything to do with like plots and stuff until this. I guess I was thinking that it was going to be something more like
Mission
so
boarding.
something more like a CQC or like a mission board. But this, you could do anything with this if they build it well enough, right? If they take, and it seems in their time, right, pushing it back multiple times. So hopefully what we end up with is something that they can keep using. It's like a new mechanic, and I know.
See,
and
I'm
then now we bring up like
not excited, because that to me this feels like remember when fleet carriers were getting closer. Then all of a sudden we got that video where it was the tender ships and all this stuff that they gave. Like, oh my god, this looks crazy. And then all of a sudden, next iteration, it was completely different. So I
scaled it all
with the
back.
delays,
Yeah.
they're just they're struggling to try to figure out exactly what this is the vibe I get. And
Okay.
I mean, so many people are talking about so many things with this, like, it's factual, like people talking about it being outside of the game. It's just like CQC, so many people are talking about things that I rewatched the video, like very intently trying to see anything that came off as factual, and everything's so vague with what they talk about that I still don't know exactly how this is going to play out.
They
I mean,
could
they talk
be
about
tying it
lobby.
into. They could be tying it into, if they're going to take a year to play out this new narrative, whatever it is. What if what you can do through operations changes through the year, or it's like for these 3 months, here's the kind of missions and the regions you're going to be in. There will always be a base of, I don't know, generic things or power play things, but then they could have more narrative-based things. It's kind of a cross between a community goal and a mission board, where as the story progresses, new story-specific missions are coming up, and maybe how you participate in those pushes the narrative one way or the other, like it did in the Thargoid War.
Well, yeah, well, that's like these objectives that you're doing during this mission, and you're collecting the final objective is you're stealing whatever from this station, or you're doing something, and that could be the community goal side of it, is we're out there, sabotaging whatever to accomplish this, or collecting this stuff to do that, like the stupid scanning the mushroom thing I'm back to again. There could be specific things that you're doing that then drive the narrative, like a community goal, like Trax was saying and you're saying, is you're just tying it into this thing.
Have any of you played Helldivers?
Nope.
No.
So in Helldivers, it's almost like your bridge of your ship is how I might imagine an operations mission board, where you look at a map and the narrative of where the big enemy has encroached on your space is what mission and different. So kind of that way, where if there is a big bad we're going to be fighting over the course of the year, whatever it's doing in different parts of the galaxy basically fits to what kind of missions you can do that are geographically based or sector based or whatever. So maybe, as I don't know, maybe it's Guardian AI, maybe it's zombie people, whatever it is, they might be pushing towards Sol or something, and it requires a certain number of people to do operations in a certain sector to win back a system or win back a planet, or like it could literally be like a war map that way.
Sure.
I mean, I just keep going back to, there's other games that figured this out, and they appear to be trying to pick the best of whatever they've seen and combine things in new ways, and that is a method other games use to drive something like an operations mission board.
Now, how immersion breaking or non-immersion breaking is operations going to be? Because it seems like you can do it from anywhere with anyone who's anywhere else. And, I mean, a lot of Elite Dangerous.
I mean, the place that has the desk, though, or desk or panel or whatever it's going to be. So not just anywhere, but somewhere you can land, seemingly.
Yeah. But if you're on four corners of the bubble, the fact that you're all going to join together and do something in the center of the bubble, for instance, and it all happens instantaneously, is that immersion breaking? Yeah, I guess. But then again, I kind of see these things are.
Yeah,
I mean, it'll be
the travel
fun,
piece of it. The travel piece of it is what's immersion breaking. But from what I saw in the video, it feels like you go to the Frontline Solutions desk, you pick something, you all end up in a lobby, and then you appear. I would think you appear on one of these Frontline Solutions carriers and get in ships and go somewhere.
Well, the travel time would be pretty dull, so it'd have to be like pretty close to a fade to black, right? Like.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's the immersion breaking piece, right? Because somebody traveled 10 light years and someone traveled 2,000 or something.
No, but I mean, if I'm on this carrier,
that's the immersion breaking piece.
Like it needs to be fun to keep people playing, right? So it's like immersion, okay, as long as it's fun. So I can fade to black onto this carrier thing. I'm saying that carrier ride needs to not be 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
no.
I'm thinking to it.
I'm thinking that carrier's in the system you're supposed to be in, like to go to. Like you fade to black to that carrier. That carrier's in the system you're fighting in.
Yeah, and then do all the ships come with you? And they're docked on that carrier?
They haven't talked about that. We don't know. We don't know whether it's. Yeah, we don't know that. Right.
I feel like it's got to be your own stuff, or what would be the point of like the rewards and stuff. So
exactly.
Yes, it has to be your stuff. I'm not really concerned. Like, it would really shock me if it wasn't. And then the reason I don't care about any of this immersion is because, like I said, I think this is how they insert content into the game. This is how I mean, this is ship interiors. They're already said that there's going to be a mega ship interiors. There's I mean, they can throw an Anaconda in interior here. There's an operation where we find a derelict or steal a ship. Any of the things people said that they wanted to do, visit a Earth-like planet. They can't do that with the game engine, but you know what they can do? The location connected to the rest of the game world, except through this fade to black portal at the operations desk. Bam, like anything you want, ice planet, lava planet, it's there, and they can insert that into the game without having to make it all play correctly and work on a 12-year-old game engine or whatever it is. That's the joy.
So
that's the
this is what we play.
Yeah, as I said, I'm still waiting to see more.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few months for a lot of adjustments to make. I'm cautiously optimistic. No, I'm just waiting and seeing. I'm 100% in a wait and see mode.
Yeah, well, a couple of months.
Yeah, this is so totally different from anything that they've done. It feels so. We'll see. I am happy to see that it isn't just an enhanced mission board kind of thing. There is more to it.
Seems to be more than
we'll
that.
see. Yep.
Guys, this is like a 2-hour show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy
we
cow.
went too long. Well, we let Roy and Bloom talk about frickin' colonization for 37 minutes. So.
We let them gang up on us, Chig.
We
got excited.
We both just went quiet. We just went, all right.
I'm like, oh man, I have to stop talking. And I was just so happy that they started talking. I was like, somebody, because I don't want to be the guy. I don't want to monopolize things. And I was not going to talk about colonization. So I'm very glad to have you guys here talking about colonization. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Good
you.
job, guys. Good job.
Way to go.
Me and Trax went quiet for quite a while there, just listening. It was entertaining.
Well, I got quiet with the whole operations thing. So
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wrapping up, the link to the bug report about the Radicoida thing, where the planets that were added into the system at the point when it got unlocked, so that it didn't match the system map that people had from before it got unlocked. When you go to those planets at those locations, the stars and planets move around, which I am not going to call time travel because that's a stupid thing to call it. That bug issue report link is in the show notes. Feel free to figure it out, or how to vote it up and get that shit resolved. And somebody took out my link about the thing. Oh dear. Okay, I'll have to go find it again. Yes, the
Roadmap?
I hope it wasn't me by accident. No. The show, the charity show we're doing on February 28th. Lave versus Loose Screws. It is for Game Blast Specialist. We're playing Family Feud, which they still need survey respondents for. So this is just opinion stuff. Please do sign up. Please do fill it out because they need at least 100 people to respond to all these things. It's going to be stuff about like what's your favorite chip and stuff like that. So
but wait a minute.
It's chill.
Wait. We need to talk about something. Alec Turner.
Okay.
Put in their show notes calling us lose screws.
What?
So he's calling us losers, man. So we
do you
need to
mean
go
lame
win this
radio?
thing.
Did lame radio call us that?
Lame radio. Yeah. They call us losers. So we got to go win or not. Either way, we'll have fun.
It's going to be tremendous fun unless we win, in which case it's a glorious victory.
It's
and
the
a true
deciding
test of skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True test. But only if we win.
But yeah, it is going to be happening on the afternoon of Saturday, the 28th of February. It's around right around Lave radio recording time, which for me is like 3 in the afternoon or 3:30 or something. do with that information what you will. I think we'll have it properly. But anyway.
We're going to host one at our normal recording time, and they have to show up and try to play.
So like
that's
1
how we'll
a.m. there?
arrange. If we lose, that's how we'll arrange.
Yeah.
So anyway,
We were
turn
jet
up
lagged.
and turn up and watch us do this. It will be tremendous fun. And if you are able, please donate all the, and I will find the link again as soon as we're done recording and put it back in the community corner here. And that's it. I'm done, guys. It's like 11.
Yeah, this is. I gotta
Stick
get
a
up
fork
early.
in it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Chig and Blooming Wind and Roy, for joining me and talking for 2 hours about this stuff.
And Oblivious, screw you for screwing him system so you couldn't join us. He was on tap to be here, and then
I think he did it on
my
purpose.
sound went bad. I
But
think he just wanted to pet his puppy. That's not a euphemism.
Would he have
Oh
been
my
able
God.
to go that long and that hard with Blooming Wind about colonization? I don't know.
I don't know.
If he took his Geritol, he would have.
Oh God. Okay. Guys, thanks for joining me. See you next week. If you say goodbye.
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 Bye.